The next act's a little bit different. It was wrote for the Cultus, local Cultus competition last month, where all the local clubs that won football titles last year had to do a summary of 2010 football campaign. This is Owen Coyle, Food for the Soul.
Now, here we go. Food for the soul. So what of the Harps in 2010? How did it go for the Tin Town men? Was it to be a year to remember, or was it to be a disappointing September, or November, or December? Because God knows about the fixtures. Right from the start, a manager was top priority. Someone with sense and skill, and more importantly, authority. So up stepped a bowman to rule the roost. No doubt a Lochshore legend could give us a boost. He talked of a new world, an illusion of fit. He had us running through forests, the mud and the In truth, it was tough, but he made men out of boys. We were ready for war. Let's bring on the noise. It kicked off with Ulster League, pre-season ball. We were flying from the off, slaughtering them all. But then came Buncrana, a quaint little town, who invited us to stay. We near tore the place down. There was dancing and joking and songs to be sung. There was to heen and to hoeing and boys in the run. Ach, now it was grand, a great time for all, a team building session and no sign of a ball. But when Ulster League returned, we were still on a high. We then lost to Kevin Barry's and were left out to dry. But the use of the games held us to good stead, because when the Throne League started, we left everyone for dead. But something else had changed, an extra string to our bow. As the new jerseys came in, jeez, they gleamed with a glow. Glued to the skin, the muscle men it serves. But for the tubbier boys, it displayed their curvy curves. The jersey was modern, a new style from before. The young cubs loved them, the old boys, oh well, I'm not so sure. No matter the gear and all the commotion, the Harps had a mission, a dream of promotion. With wins against Drumragh and the men of the hill, the Harps were looking good, dreams of cups to fill. But a lapse in concentration paid the Harps men a price. Drumquin boys were waiting with a result not so nice. But from that moment on, the Harps were pure class. It was just what we needed, a good kick in the arms. We travelled the Clacher, the Emmets and the Derg. With victories and all, a cup wasn't absurd. And those who came to us, to the Harps' home soil, they entered the fortress to our grand Mullock Mile. We beat the Tats and the Clarks, Pearse Oaks and them all. We showed the county what we can do with the ball. The league was going good, but a special time was near. It was Championship Day, the highlight of the year. We were drawn against Borough, the Knights of the West, a battle in Otter to see who was best. As the ref hopped the ball, they rang out the bell. 60 minutes to heaven, 60 minutes of hell. There was punching and kicking and screaming out loud. There was cursing and blaspheming, and that's just the crowd. Point after point, the Harps edged in front. Then we hit the net with a serious punt. The Knights were defeated, they hadn't a kick. They couldn't handle wee monies, but damn it, they couldn't handle our Mick. The first round was over, and the Harps had came through. Next up were Toddy Ray, and a tough game was due. It was a war of attrition, the Tats could defend, but the class of the Harps prevailed in the end. Quarter-final stage now, and we drew out the Clarks. A clash with the Townies could develop some sparks. But the Harps hit top gear, and we began to rule, like we were riding a stallion, and they were riding a mule. And so to the semis, we faced the Brackaville boys. The game was to be epic, the type everyone enjoys. It drew in the crowd every father and mother to watch the Harps and Owen Rose kick lumps off each other. Both teams were psyched, bragging rights were at stake, 'cause them boys are local rivals, it's now make or break. It started off tense, the nerves on display, but also slowly the Harps started pulling away. Bit by bit we got better and left them behind, points and goals flying in like football beauty refined. Brackaville boys had no answer, they could only adore the finesse of the Harps, who won 3-12 to 1-4. And now we're in the final, to be champions of Tyrone. The opposition Killyman, an opposition well known. A year's ambition and dreams came down to one day. A year of tuition and teams, now only 60 minutes to play. I'll keep the sadness short and sweet. The Harps never prevailed. No excuses can be made, in truth, we just failed. It's still hard to swallow, the mistakes that were made. If I could live it all over, I'd lead a different crusade. But the year wasn't all gone. We're still at the league. We just needed to focus and shake off the fatigue. The spirit of our men and the harp on our crest made us fight till our death and perform till our best. With wins against Glenalley and Finton at 2, we had one hand on the cup with little to do. Last game was Lick Patrick, way up in the hills. Last game of the year would settle all bills. We made sure to get the win and do exactly as said. We made sure to get the cup and put promotion to bed. So when the ref blew the whistle and the 60 minutes were up, we headed back town from the hills with 2 hands on the cup. And like a repeat up on Crana, a quaint little town, we headed back to the tavern and near tore the place down. There was dancing and joking and songs to be sung. There was to hain and to hoan and celebrating to be done. And a special mention should be made to the sod in our town, 'cause this year we lifted the turf and we flattened it down. We have a new field ready for next year, so the green of the grass would dry it to a tear. So in 22 games, the Harps lost just 2. Both by a point, the poke of a shoe. A trophy for the cabinet, a medal for the pocket. Another year gone and you can't really nap it. But more important than medals and the cups that were won was the laughs and the crack, all part of the fun. Sure, it keeps us together, our wee town as a whole. That's why we love it. It's food for the soul.